Howdy, howdy. This is TPot playing World of Goo again. So we finished the first three chapters. We finished the Goo-filled hills. We finished Little Miss World of Goo. We finished Cog and the Machine. We've also noticed what they've done up here with my virtual World of Goo corporation. So now we're going to go to Chapter 4, Information Superhighway. Meanwhile, hello world. And that's it. So we've been talking a little bit about polymorphism, but something else we need to talk about is inheritance. We have some blocks that are clickable, and we also have some blocks that are not clickable. So what we're going to introduce in this level is a different type of blocks. Let me go ahead and go down here to this. Welcome to the Information Superhighway, a land of beauty, a land of science, philosophy, architecture, fan fiction. Everything you see, from the water to the leaves, are made from sweet, free-flowing information. See if you can catch some information on your tongue. Of course, the whole place was abandoned years ago. This must be all that's left. Sign painter forever. And of course, notice that these are sleeping. And if I try and build a structure here, you notice something else is happening instead. Instead of, actually building a structure, being able to pull this off, it's kind of got this arrow to it, which means these are launchable Goo Balls. Unless, of course, I'm bad at launching. So let's try again. So that wakes these up. And I can now build a structure up to the Goo pipe. So what I need to do now is launch the rest of these over. So that gets them all in. So now we have a new type of Goo Ball. It's basically the same as the Goo Ball, aside from a color, but it's not clickable. Instead, it's launchable. And so we can think of this, and a lot of the interfaces that we'll see in languages really do kind of make it an adjective of what it can do, whether it's clickable or launchable or colorable, serializable, comparable. So here's bulletin board system. So now that I've got this notion of being able to launch Goo Balls, I now have this slightly more treacherous environment. Oops, that was not good. This place is falling apart, but the Information Superhighway isn't all green, It used to be beautiful. The video drivers must need upgrading. I bet we'll be able to tighten up the graphics around level 3, the virtual sign painter. So I've lost one of my Goo Balls, and there I've lost the second one. But the idea is that I'm going to need to find some way. So I've got these, which are basically functioning like my old Goo Balls, and I've got these, which are my launchable variants. And this will wake everything up so that now I can shoot a Goo Ball over the rainbow to here. So now if these are woken up, I can create a structure. And now that this one can suck it up. So there's one of the four. So now all I need to do is launch these Goo Balls from structure to structure, making sure I avoid the gears of fate. And something you'll notice is that as they fly onto the less anchored part, they do tend to make it wobble. You'll notice it much more over here. And that's actually something I'll need to use to my advantage. If I don't lose all of my Goo Balls trying to get through these gears. Because if I get it too close to that gear, I'll actually end up killing that part of my structure. Alright, so now at this point I just need to launch them up and over, and they should automatically get sucked up. Oops. Oh well. There's 7. Good enough for science. 7 out of 4 isn't bad. Yay! Alright, so on to level 3. So this is going to be the grapevine virus. And so this is going to introduce another type of goo ball, which we'll find out is very similar to a goo ball we've seen before. So what I can do, let me go ahead and launch one of these up, and that'll wake up these blocks. I'll launch another one up, and that wakes these up. Come on. Launch another one up, waking those up. Launch another one up. And I noticed this up here. So in order to create red goo balls, I'm actually going to need to click here. It says, this area is infected, keep out. So I'm going to put 1 in here, and notice that now I have this red mutated thing. It gets put up here. And if I go ahead and start launching it up, it also is launchable. One of the other things I will see, though, well, that was useless. So let's get a few more of these. I think 5 would be good enough for now. They're all going to pop up here. So I should be able to start launching them over. If they didn't bump onto their friends, that would be helpful. Okay, so I'm just playing this game horribly tonight. So I should be able to launch these up to the other structure up here. And launch these up to a structure as well. Hopefully not in such a way that they hit the gear, because that would be bad. Trademark. So now if I start launching these up and up, notice that this is basically acting like the drool goo balls that we've seen, the ones that basically connect once. So let me try and time this well. Not that well. Let's try again. The idea is that I want to time it in such a way that it doesn't hit the gear. There we go. There we are. So now I've got this long string that's going to allow me to get to this pipe, because notice I can't get to this pipe unless this red chain has come down. So I'm going to need some more of these red goo balls. I just need to make sure that I keep 4 of these. So let's get this couple of red ones up. Give me access to red. There we go. Where's the red one? There we go. The other red one. And so I need to get these up to this drool chain without dying. So I think I'm going to have to do something like this, and I'll wait until it starts sliding over. There we go. So I really need to kind of find a way to cancel out the motion, the movement. There we go. Stay away from that gear. So I'm going to need a few more of these. But notice that I've got this long chain, and eventually this long chain will come down to this pipe. So I just need a few more of these. Let's see if I can. Excellent. So I can actually do this from here. And I need one more, I think. Yes, one more seems to do it. So I can launch this one over. And once it's on the pipe, it'll make it. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think I can launch these straight up. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent. So now we've got these drool balls, but these are also launchable. So they're selectable, they connect to other goo structures, and they're launchable. So these kind of implement almost all of the properties that we've talked about so far. So I see visit mom, mom's cookies, win 3.14159. There's mom. Hi mom. Graphics processing unit. Unauthorized upgrade mod. So here's the world, or at least something that looks like the world, a synthetic version. And I see some sleeping stuff. What's the sign say? That must be the thing that renders all the graphics. The creative heart of the Information Superhighway. Once it's upgraded, the manual says it will offer 256 stunning colors, but my favorite color will always be green, the virtual sign painter. So here's my pipe, and here's my red goo ball. And I've got green goo balls, and my red goo balls right now are sleeping, so I need to find some way to get them up here, but I've got some gears. And what I know is that we basically have a planet to orbit. So hopefully that will go up to the red goo balls and wake them all up. Excellent. So now what I need to do is build some type of structure. And notice they have attached themselves, so now launching these, they will hit that red pipe. It should be fairly easy to get the 6 that I need. Of course, some of them are going to hit the planet, some are going to hit the gears, and that's okay. And some are just being their usual selves. Anything more up here? No, still doing a long orbit, but that's okay. That one's just going to connect anyway. So it said completing this level should give me more colors. And then what we're going to find now is a new type of, well, let's quote unquote goo balls. So roadblocks tech support. And notice the screen pans down to these things. Interesting. What does this say? Everything is filled with stereo sound and hundreds of colors. The simulated water splashes over the shattered pieces of the Information Superhighway, the traveling virtual sign painter. So I've got some type of bridge which I need to build, but I now have the benefit of these blocks to kind of help. And these blocks I'll find are stackable. So I can align this block up and set it down, say here. I can move this block over. Move this block over. So now, in addition to having launchable blocks and clickable blocks and buildable blocks, I now have stackable blocks. So now I can build stacks of stuff. I should be able to be relatively careful to build some type of structure with this. I like this notion of being able to build a couple of things. And let's see, can I get another one of these and maybe teeter it sideways? I don't know if that will actually, yeah, I was worried that might happen. So let's do this, then I can build straight up. So let's see, can I, there we go, holding this will allow me to kind of get it as vertical as possible. And so now I've got structures that I could, say, build a goo bridge out of. So if I do the way that I've done goo bridges before, kind of arching them up and over, eventually that part will land on one of these bridges, and that's perfectly fine. So now I can build over. And so I can continue over to here, which should allow me to get those 4 Goo Balls that I want. No! That's not healthy at all. So let me let that fall, and I can build this up, give some support to this. I believe I can... Actually, let me just do some time bugs. Go back in time. See, what happened is this was actually starting to fall and it hit those gears. Do I have another time bug at all? I do not. Alright, well, let's just go and retry this then. So what I'm going to do is kind of build this up a little bit more traditionally. Come on. Fall sideways. There we go. And then I'll put another one here and here. And a brick on top of it. And then another one here and here. Yes, you're watching me play with blocks on YouTube. That's what's amazing about the country we live in. So I've got this structure kind of going up. That's fairly stable. But what I can do is add a block here, add another block here, and I believe if I add a brick here to anchor that down, come on, come back, excellent. So I believe I can kind of build some type of structure here. There. And do the same thing over here. Actually, I want it the other way. And can I put this square down to kind of make that corner work out really nice? Well, that'll work. So now I'll go ahead and do my usual bridge building technique. And it should anchor over quite nicely. So now I'll do the continuing over to get over to this side. There we go. Awesome. And one of the things that I'll notice if I try is that these do not suck in. So I'm kind of stuck with that. But now we have this notion of a stackable block. So we had the launchable block, we had the stackable block, we got a lot more of these implementations, a lot more of these interfaces that allow us to interact with our blocks, to interact with our environment in different methods. All right, Graceful Failure, unblocked. Interesting. So I've got some of these beauty balls that I need to get down to this pipe here. Information Science says it looks like the socket is blocked. Lol. Roth. Did you know? Users used to wander the Information Superhighway sniffing reports just like this to see if they could gain unauthorized access, but sometimes it was a trap. Brute force might work, but sometimes it requires billions of years of computation. Maybe if you strategically slide the variables around, the data will fall in the right place. The totally elite sign painter. So I can do some things, like this block is unnecessary, and so is that block, and this block. And I think I can get rid of both of those blocks. I can probably get rid of both of those blocks as well. And definitely don't need these. I can probably get rid of... No, that didn't help. So let's try this then. Can I get rid of these blocks? Because the idea is that I kind of want these to just kind of fall in. So I don't need him. Maybe. Oh, this would be helpful. As long as we didn't fall. Can I use it to gently nudge it into place, maybe? Come on. Be nice. Be helpful. Be nice and helpful. One, two, three, and 4. Yeah, that's not going to work. Let's get our time bugs back. Back you. Okay, so let's try getting this up. Maybe. Kind of, sort of. Oops. Okay. If only there was a way to get around that lip right there. There we go. Beautiful. Knew I could do it. And gently suck them down. So we're good. And so we've made it through. Okay. So we've got a couple of more structures here. We've got Alice and Bob and the third party, and we've got the server farm. So I'm going to do Alice and Bob and the third party real quick. This one's pretty straightforward, and what's really nice is the story that it kind of tells about the history of computing, where we're trying to interrupt some signal in here. So I've got these Goo Balls here, and here's Alice, here's Bob, and I'm the third party. So let's see. I wonder what they are talking about, the sign painter. And so what I notice here is I've got these gears, but I also notice that I have these rectangular blocks, an old electronic surveillance system. These were built a long time ago to monitor communication between highway bandits, but it was hard to know who a bandit and who's not. It's probably best to monitor everyone just to be safe. I wonder if it still works. The virtual sign painter is listening. So I'm going to take this guy and put him here. That way he'll block that. I'm going to move that so I have access to this horizontal block. And now I've got a nice bridge that will go over that break. So now what I need to do is find a way to stop these green goo balls from jumping. So I'm going to grab one of these blocks. There's one bridge. Grab this one. Notice I'm trying to be very careful with the ones that are floating in the water, because I've got gears over here and gears over here, and if I nudge them just the wrong way, they're going to crack. So this should be almost enough to block, maybe. So let's try one more. And at this point, that should be enough to block them. So now they should start falling down. So I'm interrupting the entire conversation here. So everything's falling down to this point. Notice the ones that fall down here are dying. So obviously I needed to do something to block those. But what I can do is I can shoot these red ones straight down, and they bounce up. And I notice that they're bouncing up because these blocks are bouncing up. And so that should allow me to there we go. Can I do one more straight down? No. I was hoping I'd do one more straight down, but the thing is, because all of these red ones fell, I'm kind of out of luck. I may have to restart this level. So let me dislodge that, because that's going to be slightly helpful. Can I get them to come this way? Can I get this block to shuffle some down? Because if I can get that red one to bounce up at just the right spot. There, no, okay. So I'm going to need to restart this. And the issue is the blocks that I had falling off the edge right here. So I need this to be there. Let's bump you back into position. And you're going to be here, and I need you, and I need you right there. And then I need to bring these blocks up. So you definitely need to be up there to keep everything anchored. By the way, these blocks are very slippery. They slide against each other, which is a little frustrating when you're trying to build with them. But we will make do. And so what I really want to do is make sure I've got a block on each of these, just to make sure that they pieces don't fall over the edge. So I've used all 6 of those blocks that are down there. And I think I can get rid of one of these blocks to make blocks fall down. And so now I am impeding. And that imposition should make them all fall straight down. So I'm going to make sure these... I'm still losing some. Where am I losing them? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Get over there. And then I had you. So let's nudge you down as well. So I think I've only lost the one. I can launch this straight down into the water. And that should get me all the blocks. Okay, so 41 out of 30 is the best I'm going to be able to do. Oh well. There are worse things in life. If I actually got the 42, that would have gotten me the OCD, which I haven't gotten in a while. Alright, so there are 2 more levels left in this Information Superhighway. One of them is the server farm, which is pretty difficult and tedious, and I'm actually going to save that for our next episode. And then this one here, which is our culmination, which will allow us to finish Chapter 4 and get us to the epilogue. So what we should be able to do in the next video, we should be able to finish the Information Superhighway and maybe even take a little bit of a look at the epilogue. So that's where we're headed for the rest of this series. So once again, this is TPot. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.